What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be scouting the Bundesliga for the best Cap 240 players for your rare team. As always, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Okay, guys, so today we are going to be scouting the Bundesliga, and this is the team we have gone for. In goal is Kevin Müller. In defense, Patrick Menke. In midfield, Jens Stage or Stager. Up front, Clydenheis, and then in the extra spot, Anthony Young. This team at the floor price is currently £371. The recent average is 345. It hits threshold at 30% of the time out of 10 game weeks where all of these players have played together. And as always, we'll talk through all of these players' scores, their prices, the pros and cons, and also a few extra players that I found as well. Okay, so let's start with the keeper, Kevin Müller, who plays for Heidenheim in the Bundesliga. There are, I believe, 3 Heidenheim players in this Cap 240 side, and it was just a case of us scouting 3 players, and these were the best options. So we have got a little bit of a mini stack going on. His recent 3-day average is £204, and the floor is currently 228. The most recent sale was £205. In terms of his scores, he actually scores very, very well for a keeper that I believe, looking at the table, yeah, Heidenheim are 12, so sort of just beneath mid-table. There is obviously that risk of them having a bad run and getting into that sort of relegation scrap. However, with players like this, you can obviously yield back the money from the thresholds, and then also if they do go down to the second div, it isn't normally a bad thing. They either stay with that team and they obviously score very, very well next season, or they get a transfer to a different team and maybe he lands in a good situation. So I think overall with these sort of players that the risk is fairly sort of minimal. And yeah, his scores very, very good. If you have a look at the Bundesliga this season, and we'll get rid of any games that potentially he hasn't started. So he's averaging 48.4, which is quite good for a goalkeeper. 13.1 AA. A team like Heidenheim will obviously face quite a few shots. Naturally, with a keeper at this sort of price range, you are going to get a few stinky scores down here. One of them was against Bayern, as you would expect. The other against Augsburg, they let him 5, so naturally his score is going to be a little bit lower. And then against Frankfurt, he gave away a penalty. And then the other game was Leverkusen, who are obviously top. So those sort of games, probably apart from the Augsburg one, you would expect, keepers do make errors, and also against Bayern Munich and Leverkusen, those teams are normally going to get battered. But if you exclude those games, look at his other scores, very, very good. Lots of AA. Heidenheim haven't actually done too bad this season. And yeah, I think for his price range, for a budget Cap 240 rare team, I think he's basically perfect. And then we are pairing Müller with his Heidenheim teammate Patrick Menke, who recently sold for on auctioned. The special card was £45. Before that, the old season cards 23 down here. The floor is currently 37, so it's probably somewhere around that £30 mark for his rare card if you can send some offers out. In terms of his scores, once again, very, very consistent. A few higher scores here. If we just have a look at Heidenheim this season, all the games that he started, averaging 51.9, which is great, 12.9 AA, a couple of goals, couple of clearances off the line. Very, very consistent and does give you those peak scores. And obviously by partnering him with Müller, when Heidenheim do keep those clean sheets, for instance, like this most recent game week against Mainz, they both obviously benefit from that. The keeper gets the big clean sheet bonus, and then Menke will obviously get those plus 10 points for the clean sheet as well. And then in the midfield spot, we have gone for Jens Stage or Jens Starger, however you pronounce it. I'm not sure. I've probably butchered it. His most recent sale on auction was £15.91. Then before that, £17.82, £15, 4 pence, £19. So somewhere between that £15 and £20 mark, which is great for a starting midfielder. You can see from his scores, very, very consistent. Does have games where he gets very good AA. For instance, here a game of 25, Most recently 17.2. Before that, a game here with 28 AA. Someone that basically plays every game for them, which is what we want for Cap 240. We don't want any DMPs. A few lower scores down here, but that's always good for keeping the L15 down. And yeah, just overall a really, really solid option. He's someone that you can basically play every game week. And in that forward spot, we have gone for Tim Kleidenhuis from Heidenheim. Here's our final Heidenheim player. His most recent auction went for £63.35. His floor currently is 58.98. And yeah, he was someone that just by looking at players' scores, he was the best option I could find for a few reasons. First of all, when he does score, get some nice dark green scores. He's someone that if they do go down, he was one of the best strikers in Bundesliga 2, as you can see from these scores back here. And yeah, he obviously fits in with the Heidenheim stat. If Heidenheim win, you would expect him to be getting goals and assists. And yeah, for his price range, I think he was one of the best options. And yeah, a good option for this season and also next as well. And in the extra spot, we have gone for Anthony Jung, who also plays for Werder Bremen. So we've got a little bit of a half stack in this Cap 240 team with Heidenheim and Werder Bremen. They were just the two teams that I found the most value in. In terms of his prices, his most recent sale was £16. Before that, £17.53. Before that, 14. So somewhere around that 14 to £17 mark. He's got a nice low L15 of 41, which is great. And yeah, he's just basically your typical Cap 240 player, really. Doesn't have a lot of upside, but is very, very consistent, especially if you look at from game week 413 onwards. A 28 here, which is not obviously good. Then after that, 51, 59, 63, 30, 33, 61, 72, 50, 51. So the last, 10 games, he's been very, very good. And yeah, he's someone that for his price range, I think is a great budget option. And obviously being lower on that L15 means that you can get those higher L15 players in as well. And as always, guys, we do go through a few extra players for you, not just the ones in my lineup. So we do have Maximilian Werber here from Mönchengladbach. I believe he has either been sold from Leeds or is on loan from Leeds. Someone that is a bit more of a like boom or bust option, really. When he does keep those clean sheets and plays well, can get you high into those 70s and also 80s. His floor is a little bit lower, but yeah, overall a very, very solid scorer when he plays well. Sorry, he does also play for Austria, so you do also get a little bit of that international utility as well. But yeah, for his price range, round about that £30 mark, someone that's very, very consistent, and his L15 or 48 is very nice as well. And if you can partner him with some players that are a bit more steady and he can give you that upside, that's also great as well. Another midfield option is Fabian Nürnberger from Darmstadt. He is actually a U23 option as well, currently around about that £22 mark. He's someone that hasn't played the last two. I believe he may be injured or have a slight knock. But yeah, when he has been playing this season, very, very nice scores. If we have a look at his scores overall when he's been playing, averaging 49.5 with 10.5 AA, which is very nice. Someone that plays on the left-hand side normally. And yeah, gets some very, very nice scores. Lots of AA in there, which is what we always like to see. And obviously with players around this sort of price range, there is always a little bit of something wrong with them, a reason why they are a little bit cheaper. For him, he does lack a little bit of that upside. And like I was saying, he may have a slight knock, which is why he has missed the past two games. But yeah, he's a quite good extra option and someone that you can throw in, especially if that L15 starts to actually come down as well. Another extremely solid option is Timo Hubers, who plays for Köln. A very nice long contract there as well, which is always great to see. He's currently about £25, and they do have a few good fixtures coming up with Union Berlin, Heidenheim, Wolfsburg, Frankfurt. So some nice fixtures there. He's a really, really good scorer. Someone that I just couldn't quite fit in on the L15 on my concept team. But yeah, a very, very nice scorer, 16 AA, which is great. Someone that plays every game, very, very consistent. And even though Colne haven't been doing that well recently, yeah, he's someone that is a really, really solid scorer. And moving into our final two extra players, we have got Bernardo, who plays for Bochum. Once again, a very, very decent budget option, around about 23 to 33 pounds. And yeah, some really nice scores. Lots of scores in that 40 to 60 range, which is what we want. And someone that, if we have a look at his home and away split, when he's playing at home, he's much more of a threat going forward. Sometimes plays at left back and really bombs on, which is what we want to see. Has a few scores in that 70 to 80 range, which is great. Away from home is fairly, fairly similar. A few lower scores when he isn't playing at home. One of them against Bayern, which is what you would expect. But yeah, overall, for someone that's around that £25 mark, very, very consistent scoring. And someone that, yeah, if you can target the right fixtures, is a great option and has a nice low L15 of 45 as well. And I wanted to show you another forward option that was a little bit cheaper than Clydenheis. Davy Selke is currently about £33. Someone that has a bit of a lower L15 at 47. Once again, playing for Colne. He is there till 2026. And yeah, probably the sort of typical scoring chart of a cap 240 player, really. If he doesn't score, he's getting you around that sort of 34 to 40 range mark. But however, when he does score, gets you those mid 60s to early 70s. And yeah, it's pretty much your sort of typical forward option, really. Nothing too special, but in cap 240, you just want someone that's going to play, and then obviously when he does score, get you a nice dark green. And if you have a look at this team's scoring here, this was a bad game overall, 162. Not sure what happened with those fixtures, but obviously, as it is a sort of mini stack, when these two teams don't play well, it is going to score a little bit lower. 204 here, 224 here, 239. A nice score here of 305, another one here of 284, just missed here at 265, 250, a 292, and then a 270. And obviously with those extra players, if you are able to target fixtures and obviously pick the correct captain, that will help you out. But yeah, overall, compared to the previous video which we had done for the Premier League, this Cap 240 team is a little bit cheaper, about 60-70 pounds cheaper. And yeah, this is what, 7 thresholds, and over the last 3 months it has hit 3 times, so basically paid off half of the team value. But yeah, if you're a little bit smarter with it and took some time to really look into fixtures, if they're playing at home, that sort of stuff, you should be able to hit threshold with this sort of team roughly half of the time. So yeah, probably 2 to 3 months be able to pay off most of that team value. Okay, so that's going to be all for today's video. As always, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if there are any players from the Bundesliga that I've missed out that are really good options for Cap 240 Rare, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.